Welcome to Empowered to Grow, the podcast. I am your host, Hanan Basha, the business doctor. Following our conversations with empowered women who woke up one day and consciously claimed, I am more than enough, I am worthy, I am empowered to grow. And along their empowering journey towards realizing their own potential and their quest for growth, they became a beacon of hope and guidance for others. May you also find your inner power to grow. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Empowered to Grow podcast. This is your host, Hanan Basha. I'm super excited today because I have one of my oldest, and not oldest is in terms of age, not at all. One of the friends that I have made, practically one of the first friends I made when we arrived in Qatar. So we're going on 18 years now. We didn't necessarily hit it off first time, but I know that over the years, we both grew alongside each other and together, and that's formed an amazing friendship that I cherish so much. Anika Luthra, welcome to Empower to Grow.
Thank you so much, Hanan. Absolute honor to be here on your show. And whoa, yes, we have come a long way, haven't we?
Yep. Anika is a researcher, a strategist, and a coach as of last year. And she does amazing work across the spectrum of when it comes to business and when it comes to talking about your business. And I think we'll be addressing it a bit more. But I want to start with Empower to Grow. The notion and the concept of being empowered to grow. How does this resonate with you?
I think it's been pretty much empowered to grow has been the theme of my life for the past 6 years, where I have changed the story of who I was to who I have become today. So, and knowing your journey, along the similar timeline.
Exactly.
I could not have thought of a better title for a podcast hosted by you on Empowered to Grow. Because this is something, Hanan, I think is so essential for people all around the world, and especially women, where, we get bogged down with all of the roles and responsibilities under these different facets of life that we live, from being a daughter, from being a sister, to then being mothers and partners, wrapped up in all of these roles. Women tend to lose their identity. They tend to forget and lose sight of who they are as individuals.
That's true.
And they wake up one day and they're like,
what just happened?
So at that point, being able to have some sort of a support system, being able to have resources like Empowered to Grow, are the tools, are the little oars that can be provided to them so that they can navigate through all of that confusion and chaos. And there isn't enough of it out there. So to me, this is the support oar that is possible for women who want to be empowered to grow out of the stuck situations that they find in their life.
I love that. I love how you pictured it, because now I can see a whole different level of it. And true, that was the intention when it first started. As I was sharing with you just before we started the recording, I'm like, the intention was that I'm meeting these amazing women who are empowering themselves to grow on so many levels. And it's not necessarily just one level. It's not just, we're not talking just business or career or entrepreneurship or whatever it is over here. It is, as you said, it's a transformational growth that change the narrative of who you are. And when you are stuck, you don't see that. You don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. You see it's this train that's coming to crash into you, rather than, oh, there's a way out into another field and maybe another tunnel. But that's okay as well. Okay, so from that perspective, I know that you've empowered yourself to grow, but you're also empowering others to grow on so many facets. So can you share a bit more about your story, please?
Sure. So let's start with, who I am and what I'm doing today, and then, we'll go into a little bit of a flashback. All right. So today I am a researcher and a strategist, along with being a coach consultant at my company, Creative Notion, that I founded 3 years ago now. I left the corporate world in Qatar back in 2017 after a long career in branding and advertising. The career was great, had a lot of success. I loved what I did, had the opportunity to work with, amazing people and amazing brands, local as well as international. But somewhere along the line, the fun was lost. The love dissipated. Yeah. And without the fun and the love in it, I couldn't see myself there. I've never been the kind of person to just accept the status quo of things, especially if they're not filling up my heart with joy. Yeah. I just didn't know at the time where and how to make about a change. Also, I wasn't by myself anymore. I was married. Yeah. So this was needed to be a combined decision. Perhaps if it was just upon myself, I would have made a change or started figuring out what I want to do with my life years before 2017. But the opportunity presented itself in 2017. And so we said, all right, what are we going to do? Both my husband and me found ourselves in a space where we were stuck. Yeah. Did not really know how to unstuck us, but what we knew was we needed to uproot ourselves from where we were because it wasn't working for us. Yeah. So didn't know any other way. We said, fine, let's hit reset and let's go back to school.
Yeah. Sad time for me. I was happy for you, but it was sad because you weren't here anymore. Yeah.
So packed our bags and we shipped ourselves off to the US, went back to school at the ages of 40 and 50. And thought, with the master's degrees that we, enrolled ourselves in, going through the university experience, sort of working through and sharpening some of the tools in our toolkit, broadening our skill set. At the end of it, we'll find jobs. Who's not going to give us jobs with 2-3 degrees? And we'll make some money and then we'll make a jump off to immigrate to Canada. Yeah. Didn't happen like that at all. The universe had some other plans. Trump had other plans. The employment situation in the US was not something we envisioned and, planned around. So graduated, but we couldn't really find jobs because now we were kind of overqualified for the market. And as foreign students, as international students. So again, now what do we do? All right, so this immigration plan isn't working. Nobody wanted to give us jobs. I must have applied to, 150, 200 positions, rejection after rejection, until the last opportunity that I was waiting for. And I clearly remember, I think I'll remember this date for a while because it was a real page turner. 9th of August, 2019, somewhere around 9 a.m. There were a lot of 9. I was waiting for the email from the last opportunity that I had my hopes up on. Now, I wasn't, unaware of the track record of rejections we'd had. And I wanted to have a backup plan on, okay, if this is yet another, rejection, what am I going to do? And I had sort of decided in my mind, you know what, Anika, the market doesn't want to give you a job. Maybe it's finally time to give yourself a job. Yeah. And so the email came in, 9 a.m. Sorry to inform you. Okay. Understood, noted, hit my desk. And within the next half an hour to 1 hour, I put up my profile on a talent platform called Upwork. Yeah. Spent the day creating my profile there, learning my way around Upwork, And I was a freelancer. That's
Mhm.
it. And that was it. No looking back. From freelancer to becoming an independent contractor to setting up a customer base, all from scratch, not using any of my old networks or any of my old relationships, because I was doing new things and I wanted to do it in new ways.
Yeah.
And from there, as I grew up a customer base, I decided, fine, now it's time to formalize things and get myself out there. And thus, Creative Notion was born in 2020. Yeah, 2020.
Yeah.
Also, along those lines, between 2019 and 2020, now we couldn't stay in the United States anymore because our student visas were expiring and nobody wanted to hire us. Yeah, nobody wanted to sponsor us. So here we go. All right. Where can we take ourselves by sponsoring ourselves? We had never lived in India before. And we had a home still back in Qatar, but we didn't want to go back to Qatar because we had worked too hard to, turn the page, as I said, and move forward into a new chapter. And going back to Qatar for us was going backwards into some of the older chapters. So we wanted to write new chapters. We wanted to do new things in new places.
Yeah.
The universe presented an opportunity to us. My parents, who had just recently retired from Qatar and moved to India just in 2019, provided us a base to come home to.
Yeah.
And so we moved to India in January of 2020. Mind you, 4 months before our student visa expired, because we said there's really no point in staying here, you know, just because
you would have been stuck with the lockdown then.
And in hindsight, it was a great decision because January, the news of the pandemic was just a piece of news of something happening in one part of the world. But by February, it had affected the entire world. And by March, India was under, well, not just India, the whole world was under a lockdown.
Yeah.
So yes, that decision was, in hindsight, made in a very, very timely way. And absolutely no regrets, the best decision in our life. And here we are with now 3rd year into Creative Notion.
I love that. And as you said, I think sometimes you do all the work and then you get to this point where it's like, okay, what now? And this what now takes a lot of courage for you to extract yourself from wherever you are. And it's not necessarily because it wasn't going well. Actually, sometimes it's going too well that, okay, I lost my spark. How do I regain it? And usually it takes a good shakeup for that to happen. And then the universe just conspires to support you along the way. Not necessarily in a way that you want, because as you said, the plan was to stick around in this US, move to Canada and everything. But as you were saying as well, it's kind of, well, that's exactly what we needed. And this is what was better for us in terms of prosperity and in terms of growth and everything else that is related to it.
Exactly. It reminds me, just as before, we started on this call, we were talking about intentions and goals. Yeah. So talk about, when we were in the United States, the goal was, yes, get jobs and then immigrate, elsewhere. We needed to go back to, well, why did we set that goal? What was the intention behind it? And the intention behind it was that we believed that moving to a place like Canada would give us the kind of independence that we were seeking. We were now, I had started, my own work. My husband wanted to start something of his own, and he didn't really want to go back to the corporate world. So those were not things that we felt we could easily, do in Qatar at the time, based on, what we knew of Qatar at the time. Now we didn't have the opportunity to do it in Canada. Could we do it in India? Yes, why not? So with the intention has still been met. The intention has still been served, just with a different path, a path that we didn't think about. Just because, we were distracted by another picture, by another view. And also because I've never really lived in India before.
Mhm.
I am Indian, but having grown up in Qatar, I lived my entire life as an expatriate.
Yeah.
I'd never lived as a citizen. So here again, it was just about reframing, not that, oh, we can't go to Canada. Oh no, what are we going to do now? It was more about reframing it and saying, hey, let's go to India. We've never lived there. This can be thrilling and adventurous.
Yeah.
That's what we landed. That's the intention we landed here with. It's like, it'll give us the independence we want. We've got a support structure here. We've never actually worked and lived on this land. Let's give it a shot.
Yep, exactly. From that perspective, and from where you stand today, having gone through that journey, what advice would you go back and impart on your 19-year-old self?
Wow. A couple of things. One, believe that you can be whoever you want.
Yeah.
Love yourself, even if you make mistakes, because they're all part of learning and you were only doing your best, based on what you knew at the time.
Yeah.
And I think one more thing that I would tell my 19-year-old self is, irrespective of the path taken so far, anytime in your life, if you're not happy with it, give yourself permission to choose to change it. You're allowed to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a big thing. That is a big thing. I think the two main things you touched on were loving yourself. And I think we don't learn that enough, and we weren't conditioned in that way. And number two is giving yourself permission. It's okay to change your mind. It's okay to change your trajectory. These are very important lessons that I wish, like now even, 19-year-olds not being kind of susceptible to the pressure of what social media is telling them they should be doing, and to love themselves as they are. And we know about, self-love and self-image. That's very important. And it doesn't have to be perfect as per what the book says, or, as per the beauty standards that are being set, that are mostly artificial. And that in itself is also very important as a message.
Right.
Okay. The other end of the spectrum, your 90-year-old self, 90. What would you like her to thank you for? If she were to send you a message via time capsule right now, what would that thank you note say?
I'd like that thank you note to say, thank you for living your life king size. Meaning.
I like that.
Meaning, not about the material assets or, the money in the bank, but the wealth of experiences that would have been created out of the mistakes that you made, out of the risks that you took, and out of the transformations that transpired out of them. Because here's the part here, and I'll come back to the thank you note here. Why is that important? Transformation does not happen without you making mistakes. Yeah. Transformation does not happen without you taking some risks. Why? Because transformation lies in spaces that are unexplored, that are uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So you want to explore, you want to get yourself out of your comfort zone. Yes, that's going to be scary. It's going to feel like a risk because you don't really know whether it's going to work or not. You don't know how hard it's going to be. You don't know how long it's going to be. So, there's the risk there. But take it, because what lies behind it is that wealth of learning that will be in that thank you note when I'm 90. I would also put in the thank you note, Thank you for loving yourself, for celebrating yourself, and for forgiving yourself with thoughts or decisions taken that may have not been the right ones at the time, but then being able to rise up from them. And lastly, I think I'd like to thank myself for all of the work that I would have done on myself, with which I'm able to have hopefully served as many people as I can around the world, especially women.
I love that. Yeah, that too. That too. That service is very important. Okay, my last question. You're on a stage and you are talking to tens of thousands of women, and the topic is about being empowered to grow. What would be that last message you leave them with?
I think the last message that I would leave would be give yourself permission. I think it would still be give yourself permission. I hugely believe that people, and again, as I said, especially women, we don't believe that we have the choice to change things in our life because we may have invested time, energy, effort, be it career, be it relationships, be it the choices that we may have made to where we live, who we live with, who we interact with, who's in our world, what kind of relationships, anything, work, personal, your relationship with yourself. And until the time when we may stand up and we may question, I'm going to make here the sort of the assumption here with the women in this room who are therefore and empowered to grow, talk, are somewhere on the crossroads in their life where they are conflicted with where they are and where they want to be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And thereby, I think the very first step is believing in yourself, that you can give yourself permission to change the path that you are on, to change the destination that you want to get to, and take the plunge.
Yeah.
For yourself, your life, you've got the right to choose how to live it.
I love that. And take the plunge, yes, because as you said, it started with whatever kind of risk you take will become part of your story, and you will learn something out of it, and you will grow one way or another.
Yep.
Okay, I know we can talk for hours because we usually do, but where can our viewers and listeners find you in virtual space?
All right. You can find me on our website, which is creative-notion.com. You can also email me directly at Anika, Anika, at creative-notion.com. Feel free to follow my YouTube channel, which I call Rewrite My Story. It's under Coach Anika / Rewrite Your Story, where I share insights from my journey, as well as learnings from, my experiences and from those that I've learned from mentors and advisors around the world on exactly what we've talking about, rewriting any aspect of your story if it doesn't feel right, if it doesn't fill your heart with joy, if it doesn't feel like the story that you want to leave behind as a legacy of you. So that's Rewrite Your Story on YouTube. And I'm on Instagram as well, under @Coaching with Anika.
I love that. I didn't know about the YouTube. I have to go check the YouTube channel. Anika, my friend, thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your energy, and for sharing a lot of nuggets over there that I'm sure people could take and kind of move forward with.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. It's been an absolute pleasure and a real honor to be having this conversation with you. And here at this point, let me also say it is just so wonderful, this work that you're doing, Hanan, not just with Empower to Grow, but with so many other initiatives that you have started. And you're juggling, you're really superwoman. I don't know how you do it all. And being such a critical part of my own transformational journey, where, you know, you've showed up when I've reached out for help. So thank you.
Thank you, my friend. It's my honor. It's my pleasure. And as you said, I think the universe will conspire for us to create tribes and for us to attract like-hearted, like-minded people as we grow together and alongside one another, and, you know, kind of support one another. That's my purpose. That's my purpose. So thank you for that. Well, I hope you do give yourself permission to grow and to change your script and to create something new for yourself. It doesn't mean leaving your old life behind. You know, Anika did the drastic way of let's uproot. And that, again, it was with her husband, and they decided to do that. But there are also times where even one habit a day that you can change and you can uproot from that means that you will find your path to growth and your path to your own empowerment. So as always, I wish you love, abundance, and prosperity. And I'm going to see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to the Empowered to Grow podcast. For further engagement with a tribe of empowered women, join my Facebook group, Empowered to Grow, or visit my website, www.hananulbasha.com. I'll catch you on the next episode. And until then, know that empowered you empowers others. Love, abundance, and prosperity to you all.